What's up to all our sidekicks and henchfolk out there in the mother-loving geek nation? You're currently tuning into the animated CultPop Podcast, episode 35, a show where we'll talk about movies and television and comics and puns, possibly a limerick.
We're going to talk about puns?
Yeah.
And maybe a limerick.
And all the other things that scratch your nerdy little itch. We're coming to you live from the Yunk Junk headquarters, a bomb-ass podcasting production space in Manayunk. I'm your animated host, Johnny Destructo of Johnny Destructo's Hero Complex, located at 4327 Main Street. It's a comic book stop that caters to you specifically. So come in and buy. I got so much stuff for you specifically just sitting there. So if you could show up and buy it, it'd be great. With me tonight are Brian.
We are here.
Hi, Brian.
Hi.
It's just the two of us.
Do you think we can do it if we try?
Probably not. No,
You and
I have no faith in
maybe I
either
should
of
have
us.
sung it.
But
and then-
Dylan's here.
Oh, it's not just
So I guess it
me.
is just the three of us.
The illusion is shattered.
Yeah. Dylan the Great. So remember, if anything goes wrong, it's Brian's fault.
Oh, don't remember that. Strike it from the mind.
Before we get into tonight's discussions, we want to thank you for hanging out with us. Don't feel free. Feel obligated.
Yeah.
To comment, like, subscribe.
Don't feel free. Feel obligated.
Yeah, to hit the bell
Listeners,
icon.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love that.
So you know when we go live and add new content. Additionally, we want you to email us at cultpopgo@gmail.com, just like these two gentlemen did, because we got letters.
Is that right?
Motherfucker. We got lots and lots and lots and lots of
letters. What, did you not want me to sing it like that?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
All right, here we go. We have an email.
Down.
The first email is called "You Say Magneto, I Say Magneto."
Nice.
I guarantee that's how he meant me to say that title.
I assume.
Hey guys,
It's not written in the International Phonetics alphabet.
I saw no.
Well, the thing that they write so you know how to pronounce stuff.
Yeah.
That's
Like when you
weird
go
that-
to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
dictionary.
Like the dictionary.
Yeah. Hi guys, he says. I saw a reel from the show where Brian admitted, like an idiot, to he didn't write that. I added that in.
Well.
To
Thank you for
producing-
coming clean on that one.
To pronouncing Magneto as Magneto
Yes.
for years due to
Yes.
his power of magnetism prior to the X-Men cartoon establishing the Magneto pronunciation.
Mm-hmm.
As luck would have it, shortly afterwards, I was reading my floppy copy of Nova Volume 1, Number 20, July 1978,
Oh.
when I stumbled upon this in the bullpen bulletins page, and he attached an actual screenshot of it, or a photograph. Turns out screenshots are in real life are called photographs.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
only when you shoot the screen that it's. Wait, if you took a picture of a computer or a TV,
It's still a screenshot.
Yeah.
You took a shot of a
It's
screen.
like an old-fashioned
Yeah.
screenshot.
Old-timey.
Old-timey
Yeah.
screenshot.
And then quotes, item, speaking of pronunciation problems, controversy is still rife over the name of one of Marvel's all-time favorite bad guys, namely Magneto, evil master of magnetism. Is it Magneto, as in magnet, or Magneto, like the familiar electrical device? It was Stan the Man who created Maggie a few years back, but even he's not certain anymore. End quote. Looks like Brian wasn't the only one. I bumped into Brian at the comic shop and promised I would write in about this. Alex Martinez.
Thank you, Alex.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
That's awesome.
Also really interesting that there was something called a Magneto, and maybe it would have been more likely to pronounce it however that commonly known thing was called. You know? I have never heard of that device. I have no idea what it is. But yes, thank you for pointing out. And why would you think it was Magneto? Other than that, you read it, Magneto.
Magneto.
You know? Yeah.
Makes sense.
Why not?
I don't know why I knew it was Magneto.
Maybe the X-Men show. And
Yeah, probably.
Who knows? Yeah. But now I will say, he said I admitted it. The connotation of admitted is that I was sorry or felt shame.
We tried our hardest to shame you.
You did try.
You're unshameable.
Well, not about this.
So thank you, Alejandro. We have another email. This one says, mirror, mirror on the black wall.
Oh.
I'm getting all these notifications that we're live.
Oh, cool.
What's up? It's been a minute since I've sent an email to your boy, No, it's your boy.
Oh. Charles in
Chattanooga. That's
Excellent.
right. AKA
Hal 2814.
There you go.
Yes.
AKA Green Lantern Tribble.
Yes.
Hope everyone is having a good summer so far. I just wanted to know what anyone who's watched the first 3 episodes of Black Mirror on Netflix thought. I know Brian hasn't watched any.
It's true.
So everyone else chime in. That's me.
Yeah.
I personally dropped off Black Mirror because the endings were so dark and soul-sucking, but I loved Bandersnatch. Right? Bandersnatch.
Yes.
With the choices viewers could make to change the outcome of the episode. So, hopefully at least one of you watched the new season and has an opinion on its first 3 episodes. Until next time, ...
Charles and Chattanooga.
That's it. That's it. So, have you actually watched any of the Black...
Here's the thing. Just the other day, we watched... what was it? The one with Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yes.
Something. Nosedive.
Yeah.
And
so good.
We're like planning to watch the other ones, but we were like, oh, let's watch that one. Yeah. So I fell off too for a very, very similar reason. I'm like, there's 2 episodes that don't fit this, and Nosedive is one of them. Everything else is like, what if there was this idea and it turned out as poorly as it possibly could for everyone?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I had enough of this.
Yeah. Understandable.
Yeah. So I've heard the last season is really good. It's got the guy from Sherlock. It's got Anthony Mackie. And I've heard some of this season is really good.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get back to it.
Well, I'm here to tell you
that
I have watched the first 3 episodes of Black Mirror, this new season. I don't even know what season it is. Season 6, maybe?
5, I believe.
5.
I think.
And it's awesome. So the very first episode, the only reason I went back to it immediately was because so many people were talking about the first episode. Joan is awful.
Yes, I've heard a lot about it.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, this like people were talking about Black Mirror again, which sort of died off the past 6 years. The past 6 years. So
like 36
years. So I was like, oh, you know what? And I like her. She's from
TV?
Snaps.
Movie.
Yes,
Okay.
TV. She's from Filmed Entertainment.
Excellent.
And she's great. But what is the show with Dan
Mirror?
Levy?
Daniel well,
I knew it a second ago. Catherine O'Hara.
Schitt's Creek.
Schitt's Creek.
Yes.
She's from Schitt's Creek. And
Who
the
is
first
she in
episode
Schitt's Creek?
She's the sister.
Oh,
the sort
really?
of like flighty
Annie Murphy.
Yeah, yes. That she's the
Fantastic.
star of the first episode.
Excellent.
And so it's really, really good.
Nice.
I really, really enjoyed it. And then watched the next 2 episodes, which were, if you don't like dark stuff, the next 2 episodes 2 and 3, are horror stories.
Okay.
The second one has almost nothing to do with technology.
Okay.
It's just a spooky murder story. And then the third one involves these 2 astronauts. It's a revisionist history, fictionalized, wherein astronauts go to space, but they have a sort of a life model decoy that lives on Earth that they're able to transplant their brains to. So they spend most of their time with their loved ones in a life model decoy. And then when stuff goes wrong up in the satellite or where their mission, they pop back up and they're able to do stuff.
Oh, okay. Why didn't they send the decoy out there?
It's a good question.
Thank you.
Anyway, I guess because if they send the decoy and something goes wrong with the decoy, then your astronauts are still on Earth. But if something goes wrong with the decoy on Earth, it doesn't really matter. It's more of a convience for our astronauts
I got you.
than a necessity.
We're giving you this bonus.
Yeah, like you get to go home and
nothing goes wrong up on the moon.
And everything ends really well. Nothing goes wrong.
Like not just ends well, but everything is fine the whole time.
The whole time. It's a really pleasant experience.
It's just like kind of chit chat.
And until the murders. Yeah, there's murders.
Oh.
So very, very dark, but also very good.
Cool.
I'm a big horror fan anyway, so the fact that it's done this sort of mild pivot from futuristic sci-fi terror to straight up horror stories.
You're still into it.
I'm still into it.
Cool.
Yeah, they're both in my wheelhouse.
I got you.
In the what's it called? The
chat.
Noel is typing along as we discuss. He's Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
What's up, Cult Popper? Says Robert. Hey, Robert. And Terry says, too active for my passive viewing. I don't know what that comment was in reference to.
He's going to pay too much attention to Black Mirror or this.
Oh.
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah.
Dylan, are you watching Black Mirror?
Yes, I actually am.
Oh,
I think I watched all of them besides the last one.
All right.
Oh,
so
okay.
I have seen the first 3.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
Because I heard that other people's viewing experiences, depending on, I guess if you have a different Netflix account, the list of episodes is different. So my first episode was Jonah's Awesome. My second episode
I've had the same as yours. The second was like the horror one where the kids are making the documentary. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then third, I've heard the same thing about
I've never,
different shows too. About
yeah,
like,
me too. And I've never
that
really
aren't like
Sounds like it's a bunch of bullpucky.
Yeah.
It does seem like the kind of thing that could be true, but could also be something that somebody's like, hey, that could be true. And then 2 people down the line, they're saying it's true.
Yeah.
You know?
So anyway, thank you so much, Charles in Chattanooga, a.k.a. Hal2814.
Yes.
We miss you writing in. Thank you so much. So wait, in the email, does he say he liked the new season, or is he saying...
He said he didn't watch it.
No, watch it. It's great.
I think he said it. So there's
Unless you don't like the dark stuff, and then don't watch it. At least watch the first one. You can at least watch Joan is Awful, Charles.
Oh, cool. The Callister, that story that was kind of like a Star Trek story in VR.
Yeah, oh my God.
They said, or I had heard, that was coming back for a second part. But I guess that's not in this season.
Not the first 3 episodes.
Okay.
I can tell you that much.
Yeah, thank you.
Might be in the last 3 episodes. I don't know.
Is there more?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
there's a whole season.
Oh, I thought
I just have only watched the first 3 so far.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also maybe, I don't know, because it all drops at once, right?
It all,
Dylan?
Usually, or sometimes in halves, though, with Netflix.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay,
it all dropped at once.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Cool.
All right. Those are the emails. We did it.
Mm-hmm.
We succeeded. We're doing so good, Bri.
Terry has a question.
Terry has a question.
Remember the question?
No. You said it to me 30 seconds ago, and I forgot it.
Does Thanos have a dad that they address in the comics?
Thanos
in the comics?
Yes. He does have a dad.
And a half brother.
Eros. Yeah, who we just met in the end of one of the movies.
Oh, who we just met in Eternals.
Eternals, the post credits in Eternals. Terry, I looked it up because I did know that there was a 5-issue miniseries called Thanos Rising, which was written by Jason Aaron with art by what's his name? Not Valerio Schiti. And so it basically introduces you to Thanos' parents as well as his brother, and you see his whole childhood and what have you. So
also featured prominently in Universe X, where from many, many years ago, like that kind of alt future thing where they say that his mom was a Skrull and went to Titan, had Thanos, and seeing him realized that she needed to reshape her internal organs to produce children that don't kind of look like Skrulls.
That's neat.
Yes. And that was what Universe X was all about, was like, these final twists of the Marvel, like this thing was always that thing. And like that kind of thing.
I like that. I like that. I only read Earth X. I didn't read Paradise or Universe X, but I really like the first one. The artist was Simone Bianchi.
Oh, very good.
And I want to say the dad's name was Alars, right, Dylan?
Yeah, Dylan.
I read it to you like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, and then Thanos' daddy disowns him for being a deviant, says Noel. So what happens is the mom had a specific name for Thanos when she was pregnant. And then Thanos popped out, and she looked at the kid, went insane, and was like, nah, his name's Thanos now. So even just seeing Thanos as a baby, his own mother went fucking bonkers.
It's like a particularly strong response.
Yeah.
Maybe she could see everything that was going to happen. She's like, oh my God, this guy's going to kill half the universe. Yeah. Then they come back, but he does a lot of other stuff.
Yeah. A lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
And Thanos means immortal in Greek.
Does it? That's interesting because Thanatos is the god of death. Ooh. Yeah. Anyway. Although the A, well, that probably doesn't have anything to do with it.
Hey, Dylan, can you scroll up to what Eddie said? Eddie's in the chat also. And, Donnie Cates revealed his name, I'm pretty sure, said no. Oh, I guess you can't. You can't. Never mind.
No.
Anyway, hi, Eddie.
It won't let you scroll. What did he say? Eddie said something, this was someone else. His name started with a T. I believe it was interesting. He said, in all of the 3 horror Black Mirrors, or maybe they meant the 2 out of the 3 or all 3 of these, you see a camera, another kind of Black Mirror.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
There we go. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, Eddie, how you doing? He says.
Hey, Eddie.
All right, so we had emails, and now we're going to move on to the portion of the show that I like to lovingly call, What You Been Up To This Week? Huh. Brian,
Hey.
I'm going to pose the question to you.
What is that question?
Try not to be surprised. What you been up to this week? Huh. Don't grip that box
JD?
too hard.
That's what she said.
Oh.
She meant it in the slang way.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, vagina.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the kind. So anyway,
Uh-huh.
what was the question? What have I been up to this week? All right, this segment. So I watched Renfield, the movie starring William Holt.
Nope, it's starring Nicholas Holt.
Oh, yeah. And nobody named
William Cage.
Yeah.
And William Aquafina.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's actually Aquafina William.
Williams.
Yeah. Williams.
Nick Cage, Nicholas Holt, and
Yeah.
Aquafina. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this is so Renfield
Yes.
being the classic sort
Dracula.
of Dracula familiar.
I think he's a familiar. I don't know if
slave.
he was called that at the time. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's where that comes from or if it didn't come till later. I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, probably not, because witches familiars with far predated that. So it was really fun.
Yeah.
Nicholas Holt plays Renfield titularly.
The titular. Yeah.
yeah. He's got a little bit of a twist on Renfield, or they do, where he, by eating bugs, gets a small portion of Dracula's power.
I think
right?
that's such a neat idea.
It is a neat idea.
Yeah, because if you're gonna be Dracula,
Yeah.
and you're gonna have a pal that does stuff for you,
Sure.
you at least give him a little bit of something.
Right, a little something.
A little something.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Dracula's blood can heal you in this. Right? He uses it to heal Renfield from time to time. You know,
okay.
if he gets like cut once and it gets healed at least.
That makes sense too, I guess.
Yeah, why not? Sure. I mean, what wouldn't make sense?
Yeah.
You know, whatever you want. But yeah, it's really cool, especially for something like this where, you know, Renfield is thinking about turning against Dracula. He's done with this, right? Or he's contemplating that. So it makes sense for the protagonist to have some ability.
Sure.
And it leads to a lot of awesome, comically graphic, blood spurty, violent fights.
Some of my favorite kind of violent.
Yeah, sure.
Blood spurty?
And very blood spurty.
Yeah.
Blood cascadey.
Oh,
really.
wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
And the action sequences are really well choreographed. Yeah, it's really cool. Nicolas Cage is fantastic as Dracula. They do a little bit where they're sort of recreating the Bela Lugosi, you know, as like a prologue almost.
Yeah, okay.
So he does that, and then when you're in the present, he's great. It's so much fun. So
is he Nicolas Caging his way through it?
Not so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I've always liked Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
And I understand people, you know, he's like, in a lot of things, he's got a Nicolas Cage vibe to it. I like that vibe, so cool. I'd say this is very much hamming it up, but not 100%.
Not 100% Cage.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if somebody else did this, you might be like, it seems maybe a little almost like Nicolas Cage was doing it, but not really.
Okay.
So anyway, let me see if there's anything else. Just this like kind of light, delightful action
romp,
gory horror comedy.
I've been really looking forward to it. I saw the trailer, and I like so the scene in the trailer is Nicholas Holt's character Renfield going to a group meeting.
Yes.
And I believe it's for people who are in abusive relationships, maybe.
Yes.
And so he's talking about his abusive relationship in a way that everyone's like, "Oh yeah, I totally get that sort of thing," and we're all in the same kind of boat. But of course, he's talking about Dracula,
right?
Yeah, which is a cute setup for the character, introduce you to the character. So I've been dying to see this movie. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah,
so
I was the same way for a little while, and I'd even heard. Our friend Rob Patey didn't care for it, I think, right? And
well, he's a curmudgeonly son of a bitch.
It's true.
He doesn't like a lot of things
for fun and sport.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. But he didn't get into it, and so I was like, that's a bummer. It looked like fun, but I loved it. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
The chat says Tommy Be Good too says funny spurty blood like Kill. I was thinking Kill Bill actually. Yes.
Even more like more than that.
More than Kill Bill.
Yeah.
And then Noel says Nick Cage is my Superman.
Excellent. Sure.
And Tommy says we can't understand why it didn't get better reviews.
I know.
Yeah, I heard a review on the Slash Filmcast, and I think they liked it.
I could see it being a little niche, not just the horror comedy fantasy stuff, but just the humor is like you got to be playing with it. You got to be getting into it. Oh, Ben Schwartz is in it too.
Oh.
Whom I adore the comedy of. You know, he's great. And so I'd forgotten that he was in it. I saw it. And I was like, that's Ben Schwartz.
I like him from not
Parks and Rec. My favorite side character on that show.
He's really
for
good.
Sure. Yeah. But I think that's what it is are there uproarious laughs? Is it insanely clever?
Yes.
Is it going to be JD's favorite movie?
Yes.
In the last 10 million years?
Yes.
No. The answer to all those is no.
Damn it.
Well, actually, no. The answer to the first two is no.
Okay.
I don't know how your feeling will be about it. But anyway, since everyone's forgotten the actual question that I asked, is it uproariously funny, like extremely finely crafted? No. Some of the jokes are like visible a mile away, but it's like, oh, that was funny.
Okay,
you know? Yeah, it's good.
I'm definitely going to check it out. What I've been up to this week is Yellow Jackets, season 2. We've been sort of plowing our way through that. So do you know what Yellow Jackets is? Do you know what the conceit is?
No, I've just seen that image, that antlered person in yellow, I think. Yeah.
So Yellow Jackets is a TV show that takes place in 2 times, in the, I want to say early 90s.
Okay.
And also now.
Okay.
So there was a group of, they're a sports team, a female sports team in high school.
What sport?
Soccer, probably.
Could be lacrosse too. That happens a lot in TV.
Maybe it's lacrosse. I don't know.
Yeah, field hockey. That's classic.
It's
TV women's
what's the ones? What's this hockey?
With foosball.
Foosball. Yeah, they're probably a foosball team, and they go on a plane to go to the foosball tournaments, and they crash, and they're stuck there for a very long time, and they get up to some gross and horrible shenanigans, and then it also intercuts with those same characters, well, the ones that are left now, dealing with the repercussions of the fallout from that.
Sure.
So the first season is fine.
What kind of stuff are we talking? We're talking like things that would be horrible but could happen in this world, or are we talking?
I mean, it's a little supernatural.
Okay.
There is a supernatural element to it that starts to develop as it goes.
I got you.
But there's some people eating.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Is it like that song, the one-armed
foosball purple people eater?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Which I never understood if
the
they were
reference.
To mean the the foosball reference, because who knows, why would they sing about that? But is it an eater of purple people, or a people eater whom is purple? Who is purple?
Whomst.
Yeah, it's obviously the first one.
Yeah.
Or the second one.
Noel says it's soccer. Which is basically foosball.
That was what you said. I mean, foosball is a reproduction of soccer, just like pool.
So I was pretty much right.
Is like croquet. Pool, indoor croquet.
I don't know either pool or croquet.
You don't know pool the game?
No.
On a green table?
Oh, pool! Yeah. I love that game.
Yeah.
I love pooling.
Yeah.
I pool so hard.
Yeah.
You're pooled with the best of them. Yeah. I'm a real pooler.
He's a pooler.
Terry said, my boys are properly using the mics. I'm so happy. Noel says, creators have insisted that there is no supernatural shenanigans going on. Take that as you will. Oh.
Creators of this show?
Or just creators of other things.
I created this cake. And my take on it is, no, that's interesting. The creators of this show said no supernatural. Because I had heard that there probably were, and that was kind of the only thing
There's
that
a lot
I
of
might have watched it for.
Spooky stuff happening in this show. It's a surprise to me. And also maybe a potential spoiler. Because I thought it was supernatural. So yeah, the second season. Also, it's got Juliette Lewis, Christina Ricci, and Melanie Linsky, who is wonderful. She's so much fun in this show specifically. We just recently saw her in the zombie apocalypse show with the mushrooms.
The Last of Us.
Last of Us. She was in The Last of Us. And there is a sequence in this season where Melanie Linsky has to go get her van back from someone who's stolen it. And it is the best scene of the entire show so far. She absolutely kills it.
Oh, sweet.
It's so good. I think she may be up for an Emmy for it or something.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
But do you think I would like this show? No, probably not.
Probably not.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Especially if there's no supernatural stuff, as the creators have.
Yeah, it's pretty dark and it's not a good time. It's not a romp.
That's what I thought. Even from that promotional image, it looks like it's horror-ish and not the kind, but borderline maybe the surreal kind that I would get into, but maybe not. And with what Noel says about the creators, I'm not. There's plenty of
it's not for you.
I'm not in.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's what we've been up to this week.
Huh.
But then we were also up to some other stuff.
Is that
so
right?
our main discussions tonight?
I think.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Well,
you go ahead.
JD had called me and we were talking because there is a writer's strike going on right now and a Screen Actors Guild strike.
Yeah.
And we are not part of either of those guilds, but we are talking about stuff that they do. And so JD was concerned if we would be doing something that we wouldn't want to do by doing this show, right?
Yeah.
And
not support
exactly, right? Because we both agree with, I mean, every point of theirs that I've heard so far, and this is an important time to do that because we're talking about a precipice over which maybe actors would not get paid that much and not have that much bargaining power. And these types of things need to be, I don't know, I hesitate to say controlled, but corporations who have easily the power to exploit others. The way that they use these things, we agree. These deals need to be worked out well. So anyway, to make a long story short, JD was worried if we should go on. We consulted with Variety, published something that said people who are reviewing shows, that's fine. That is not called for. Like I said, we're not members of those guilds. Anyway, we are hobbyists that do this for fun. And we're just talking about shows. But we looked into it, and we just wanted to let you all know where both of us stood on the matter for whatever that's worth, but also because we didn't want you to think that we were doing something that we shouldn't do.
I wanted to support the strikes as much as I can. And so I was a little nervous about doing the show. I'm like, maybe we should just also not be doing the show. But it seems like we're not interfering with anything.
No, and it's not specifically called for. No, and leaving aside that even if it was, we're not members of those guilds do not enjoy the benefits, nor do we pay the dues. But we might do it anyway. I also saw Neil Gaiman made a comment. People said, should we? I've been hearing we shouldn't go to see movies because we should boycott these movies so that the studios know that this is important. Neil Gaiman said, no, absolutely, do not do that. One, that is not being called for. Two, if those movies don't do well, one of the lines the studios are taking is, we don't have enough money to do the royalties.
Yeah, look, no one goes to movies anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they could say, rightly or wrongly, look, we don't have enough money.
Yeah.
So go and see those things. Actors aren't going to get residuals that they already have in their contracts if you don't see those things.
Yeah.
And
that's a good point.
So I hadn't thought of that either, and I read it, and it seemed like a good point.
And then I saw someone else was like, I'm going to cancel I canceled all of my streaming services in solidarity with the strike, and so the people came out and they were like, no, don't do that. We haven't called for that yet. If you do it now, it means nothing.
Right, you're just we don't know why they.
If we call for it, then you do it, and then they'll know that it's because of this, not because you just ran out of money.
Now, to be fair, I saw an actor say, "Look, I'm not going to say anything that would potentially break the rules of the strike, but for what it's worth, I have canceled my streaming services." In response to a question. I don't think he just came out and said it.
Gotcha.
But, I mean, people are trying to do the right thing, and nobody knows exactly, and there's different perspectives, and you find out more. So if anybody canceled it, I think is no, re-up, and then again, the actors get rejected. Just keep going back and forth.
Yeah.
Let them know. It's like when you're hitting one of those boxing things in the movies and maybe in real life.
Things in the movies.
Like punching bags.
Yeah, yes.
But the kind that you can just like, what I mean? When they're doing it real fast.
Speed bag.
A speed bag.
Speed bag. Thank you, Dylan.
Because that's where people keep their speed.
Yeah.
Right.
R Moon says, what's up, fellas? Thank you guys for finding a way to support everyone. Noel says, there's no consumer boycott called for at this time. Business as usual for the consumer, but you can donate to the strike fund to help strikers pay medical bills and eat while striking.
I thought you were breaking into a southern accent there for a second. Medical bills.
Medical bills.
Yeah. It was all right.
Our Moon says, going to SDCC, expect it to be more subdued, and I'm looking forward to more comic stuff at the con.
There you are.
Yeah. My Adventures with Superman. 3 episodes have dropped.
They sure have.
We were going to do this last week, but we weren't here. So episodes 1, 2, and 3. It's an Adult Swim show.
Yeah. ...
question mark.
Yeah.
Face. Like, why? It drops at midnight.
That's weird.
Why is this dropping at midnight on Adult Swim and then the next day on Max?
Maybe he's about to get real graphic.
Oh.
Episode 4. You know what I'm
Wow.
talking about? I'm talking about a 3-way with Jimmy and Lois and Superman. And these are the adventures that we're mostly going to be focusing on.
Nice.
Yeah. And then he's like, you hear about it. They pay lip service. Like, oh, I just took care of some aliens, you guys.
Yeah, it was
as he
so
flies
good.
in.
Yeah.
And then,
Man, Mongol, he was rough. Anyway, put that in my mouth.
Yeah. He's syntax and stuff. Intonation, emphasis. That's really the heart of it.
Starring Jack Quaid, Alice Lee as Lois, Jack Quaid as Superman Clark Kent. Spoiler alert.
So wait, do you mean to tell me that Clark Kent and Superman are one and the same?
I'm so sorry.
What?
Ishmael Saeed and Chris Parnell.
Yes, that took me for a loop.
Who does he play?
He plays
Deathstroke.
the guy who, to skip ahead to the end of the credits of the first one, I was like, oh, that was Deathstroke.
Yeah.
When I saw his name in the credits.
See, he has both eyes, but his hair is covering an eye, so it's kind of like an eye patch.
And he wears orange and blue, and he's got white hair, and what have you. But he's certainly not in traditional Deathstroke role. Or the kind of army thing that he's in is usually in his backstory, if it's there at all.
Clark Kent builds his secret Superman identity and embraces his role as the hero of Metropolis while sharing adventures and falling in love with Lois, a star investigative journalist, and then also takes Jimmy Olsen under his wing. So the first thing I noticed, big to do, my folks, the first thing we see is a sign. It's a road sign, and it says Metropolis is this many miles away.
Yeah.
Smallville is 4 miles away.
That's right.
So he's not living in Smallville?
What?
His house.
Yeah.
There's a sign in front of his house, and it's how many miles to certain places.
I thought that was...
That's his house.
Right.
And in front of his house is a sign that says Smallville 4 miles. Which means he doesn't live in Smallville. He lives 4 miles outside of Smallville. So where does he live?
Maybe
this show is bullshit and I hate it.
Maybe they're talking about the city center.
Maybe.
It's a 4-mile wide city, which I really have no idea if that's big for a town.
I just thought that was strange.
Is that big for a town? No. 4 miles for a town, Dylan? You're going to say Smallville? Okay, yeah.
I mean, it's called Small.
And Ville.
So anyway, I tease, but I was like, that's a weird decision
That is
to make.
weird.
He doesn't live in Smallville. He lives 4 miles outside of Smallville.
I thought it was more...
He lives in Smallerville.
He's a small suburb of Smallville. I thought, and this is probably why they made this enjoyable error that you've caught, that they wanted to show you, for whatever reason, Smallville is kind of close to Metropolis, and you see both of those in the first shot.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you're right. 4 miles. Or maybe he's even in, JD, right? So Smallville is kind of town that has a general store that Mon Pa Kent ran in the Silver Age, right? It's kind of like...
Did they?
They did, actually.
Cool.
They sold the farm and ran a general store.
I didn't remember that.
And Smallville was probably in New Jersey. It wasn't in Kansas until the Richard Donner movies.
No kidding.
No kidding.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I am not big on my pre-crisis lore for soups.
Yeah. Whereas I am quite big.
Yeah, that's like your jam.
It's one butter. Of my myriad jams. And butters. So... Oh, yeah. Maybe it's one of those towns that, there's the town, and then there's farmland all around the town.
Right.
And so he's like, it's Smallville, but the town limits are actually a little further.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Nah, Smallerville is better.
Smallville.
So did you watch all 3 episodes? Candor. Oh, my God. Smallerville. That's adorable. It
would be kind of a jerk move.
That would be really rude.
Stop, Smallerville. Look at me, regular-sized guy.
What did you think of the first 3 episodes of My Adventures with Superman?
I loved them.
I know you did.
Yeah. They were great. They're it's weird. You talked about the Adult Swim-ness.
Yeah.
Like, why is it on that? It is very much like a show that kids could watch, but also it's got a little of the Samurai Jack. You'd want to watch this at any age. It's not tonally similar to Samurai Jack.
I would say maybe Legend of Korra and
okay. I didn't watch those, but yeah, from
Avatar:
what I hear.
the Last Airbender.
Yes, seriously taken.
Yeah,
but still very
whimsical.
Whimsical, yes, which is a style that I really like.
Same.
The relationship between Clark and Lois is endearing from moment one.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, one of the things I noticed that I really enjoyed was that Lois, for the first time in a very long time, with all the different iterations of Lois and Clark, is falling for Clark immediately before she even knows about Superman. Because for the longest time, it was always Lois sees Superman, loves Superman, really interested in that guy, and then Clark is like the deep doop top, you know, like, oh, all right, Smallville, get out of here.
Yeah.
I'm looking at pecs over here.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're already connecting on an emotional level before Superman is even a thing, I was like, oh, I like this.
Yeah. Which I feel like has been a bit of a trend in recent stuff, right? And I can't think of where I saw it recently, but maybe it was in the New 52. I don't remember, but I feel like it was an adapted property. And I like that.
Yeah.
You know, that she's like into Clark. And then, in fact, I thought it was even a little odd, I think, in episode 3, Superman and Lois meet. And she's clearly into Superman, too.
As well, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, who isn't?
And why wouldn't you be? And also, if it's one of those things where you're really connecting with him on a deep level, well, it makes sense. It's the same guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Something about this guy.
Yeah. When in fact, you could see her being like, what the hell? You know how torn I was between the two of you? Yeah. Or maybe just this is great.
The other thing I noticed, and this, listen,
okay.
This was pointed out. I did not notice this, but I can't stop seeing it. It's a tiny little accent, a very cool little thing that Jimmy Olsen, who's black, and also Perry White, also.
Yes.
His palms are a lighter shade than the rest of his, like the back of his hands. It's just a nice little thing. You rarely see that. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. It's a nice little attention to detail that I thought was really neat.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And Perry White is a character who has often been represented as white and is now black, and is also not originally a redhead, which is nice.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I know Lawrence Fishburne played him in Men of Steel movies, but it's cool. It's good.
I like that he's a little more brusque than I remember Perry White being. He's just like constantly like, get out of here.
Is Perry
I don't
White
want you in here.
Usually like that?
Well, normally he's not that much.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's normally like just like stop calling me chief, that sort of thing.
Right.
But really, it's just like, I mean, also I guess they're kids, right? Because that's the difference here is that Lois and Jimmy and Clark are all late teens, early 20s.
Early 20s. Yeah, they're interns.
They're interns at a newspaper,
but they don't go to college, so I guess they're recent graduates who are now interns. I don't know.
It's not 100% sure, but
they haven't done the episode where they address their.
So like maybe that's why he's dealing with them specifically that way, is because he sees them as just like kids.
Right. And she keeps, I mean, Lois Lane has not been there that long, and it's already been a problem for him. She's like, I'm going to go solve this thing, and he's like, no, you work around here and get stuff for us.
Yeah. Get my coffee.
Right.
Don't solve a thing. Yeah. Except for how to get me my coffee.
Yeah. Which you should already know.
Yeah. Okay, checking the comments. I've seen a lot of discourse online because everybody hates everything online.
Well, the people that do talk about it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's true. Like Twitter is all abuzz with everything they hate about this show. Like they don't like that Clark stumbles over his words and is nervous around Lois. And it's like,
what else is Clark Kent around Lois Lane or anyone in the beginning?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it's always been that way, except for I guess in the Snyderverse. Right?
They don't even meet
as
Clark. Like, she knows him as Superman well before he takes on the Clark Kent identity.
And just stuff like that. Like, everyone's complaining about.
And he doesn't really. He like stumbles in a way that's like, I'm
cute.
really into you right away.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and like I don't know what to say around you, but yeah, I think it's nice.
I sort of always love the interplay when two people are interested in each other and it makes them nervous to be around each other.
Yes.
I always like that in my fiction. It's kind of adorable and
But in your real life, it's kind of
I hate it in real life.
Awful.
I hate it. It's
just,
the worst feeling.
Right.
Yeah, but seeing it in other people, like,
you like that.
Yeah.
Because you like horror and that.
Yeah, it's true.
Right.
Is there anything you don't like about this show? Is there anything you're like, I wouldn't have done that? I don't like how they portrayed Deathstroke. That was the other thing. They were like, oh, Deathstroke's like a pretty boy and blah, blah, blah. And
I mean, yeah, you still got two eyes. You know?
Yeah.
Not that you can't be very good looking with one eye.
I know,
What
right?
I mean,
That's
right?
rude.
A lot of people, I just want to make that clear.
Okay.
Right. But it's weird. I don't necessarily dislike it, but I noticed that when people's hair goes over something, you can see the black line of it through that, which is not how hair is, but is also, hair's not opaque either. So, you know what I mean? Before we get into anything like that, of which I don't have many or any, but we haven't talked about Superman.
that guy's in the show. Yeah.
The Superman stuff is cool.
What do you feel? Another one of the things that people hate is the Sailor Moon-esque transformation sequence.
Wasn't that just that first time? Does he?
Yeah, I guess. But
that's when he gets the costume.
Yeah. Oh, is that? I guess you're right.
Yeah, he's like being suited with the costume.
Yeah.
It's not. That's in universe. He's got a ray of light and a costume around him. You know. Yeah, I think. I think it's a fun nod that he starts off with no red trunks and Ma Can is like,
you know what you need.
You need something. Of course, that means that they are made out of like earth materials.
Yeah.
And will get burned off
Yeah.
whenever something happens that destroys. So we'll need to replace them. But
that was one of the things that I remember from the John Byrne era is his suit
yes.
was also indestructible, right?
No.
No? Oh,
no.
shit.
The reverse, actually. It was destructible.
It was super destructible.
No, what it was
even a slight breeze would tear it
would
apart.
destruct it.
Yeah.
But, in the old days, in the Silver Age, for most of that, the suit was indestructible. It was from Krypton.
Oh.
Maybe had been woven from his baby blanket. I don't know where that came into it, but it was indestructible.
Yeah.
And there was only one of them.
Mm-hmm.
In the John Byrne era, his mom made it for him, and it was anything that was very, very close to his skin was protected by like his invulnerability was like an aura, right?
Yeah.
So
same way the Flash has aura.
Yeah, but like closer even. I mean, it only did this one thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I pictured it as like all of his cells have a little aura invulnerability field, and so the ones on the outside it extends a little bit, right?
Sure, yeah.
And which also gives a good reason for why he would wear a skin tight outfit, right? And since he's the first, and it did a very cool visual thing where it's like, oh, if Superman's really in trouble, costume gets torn out.
I see, yeah.
You know,
yeah.
the cape gets torn up, and it allowed that as opposed to the Silver Age where that couldn't happen.
Yeah.
So that was the deal.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But I like the transformation,
Mm-hmm.
and I like the way the suit looks. It is funny that like as he goes in and out of Earth's atmosphere and hits the high temperatures, his suit will be fine except for his trunks.
Yeah. Like,
he will always be burning off his trunks.
Yeah. That thing really burned my trunks, he'll say.
A classic saying.
Yeah.
What else do you have to say about Superman?
So they're doing one of those things where it looks like Jor-El is not such a great guy in the beginning.
Is that it, or is it just I kind of just So when we first are introduced to Jor-El, he is speaking Kryptonian.
Yes,
and
it's very harsh-sounding Kryptonian.
Neither very harsh-sounding. So to me, it was just like when people speak German, and they're saying something really nice, but you're like, oh, that sounds like they're angry.
Yeah.
So
you have come along for you, my boy.
Yeah.
Like that.
Except it's in Kryptonian.
Yeah, because he's not German. Right.
As far as we know.
Could be German Kryptonian.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works.
Do you think that Jor-El is a bad guy, or just like speaks a certain way?
I think he's imposing looking, right? And he speaks in this harsh sounding language. And he, although Clark did get those visions of robots taking over stuff, whether that's a flashback of the past or a premonition, undecided for us. No, I assume they're doing the kind of thing like with Smallville, where he's bad in the beginning, and that's a bit of a twist, but I don't think they're gonna make Jor-El bad.
Yeah.
But you had wondered if that was even Jor-El.
Yeah. Well, because he looked so menacing,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, is there some reason that Zod would be talking to whoever crashed the ship or whoever belonged in the ship. And I, for some reason, I thought his crest looked less like an S and more like the Z of Zod. So
it does a bit. It's very stylized, almost Kingdom Come looking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
My all-time favorite Superman
is that right?
S shield
it's a
is
good
the
S.
Kingdom Come. I almost got it on my shoulder.
Even though don't like Superman is not your main guy by any
not,
means.
But it's a good.
It's a good S.
Robert Monroe says, "How was the indestructible suit made from the baby blanket? I never understood how his mother made it."
So here's how it went down. She unwove the baby blanket because the thread was indestructible.
Was destructible.
No, the thread was indestructible. Could not be destructed.
Okay.
But the manner in which it was woven together, quite destructible. So you just take it apart, right?
Yeah.
It's like a knot. You're not breaking the rope. You're just untying the knot. So she was able to do this somehow. She had been sewing things for many years. And so, right? They probably never went into this, but maybe there was some Kryptonian machine involved, like from his.
You know what?
You know,
in the Kryptonian ship was probably a Kryptonian sewing machine.
Probably.
Yeah.
Like, we'll send him off with our prize sewing machine, Jor-El. Yes. So she unwove it, and then she sewed it or knitted it back together. So Superman is wearing like a knit when he goes around, when he flies around.
Okay.
And there was also enough material in a baby blanket to make the suit of a full-grown man.
Yeah.
Plus a cape.
But plus a whole lot of cape.
Yeah. Now, I do love the idea that the cape is his baby blanket, and the suit is... Maybe he gets the suit in the fortress, right? Is that how he got it in the movies, in the Richard Donner movies?
No. In the Richard Donner movies.
Yes. I don't remember if they even... I think they did, because he goes to the fortress.
Yeah, and
he
then
learns to be Superman
out.
for it's like 12 or 18 years that he's there. And
Really?
then he leaves as Superman.
Oh.
So unless there was a side trip that they didn't show,
I don't know.
bought it.
So the shorter answer, Robert, is no idea.
Shorter answer is what I said. As short as it could have been. You know what? We were talking earlier about the idea came up about Superman's secret identity.
Yeah.
And also it's interesting that he gets his powers one at a time. Like,
I love
as
that.
necessary.
I love that.
It's intriguing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool.
His eyes do the blue electricity thing, and then
he's like powering up in response. Yeah.
Which, when they first did that, I was like, "Are they
Electric Superman?
Are they talking about Electric Superman?"
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Probably not.
No,
I think now that we know that it's he's just leveling up.
It's when he gets his powers.
Yeah.
This happens. What an interesting idea! Like, what if he develops a certain number of powers, and it's in response to the things that he first encountered? You know?
Oh yeah.
He's probably not doing that, but an interesting idea for a character.
Yeah,
you know? And then he gets so many, and he's got them. Whatever. But so we were talking about Superman's secret identity. And to diverge for a minute, I've always thought people are like, oh, Lois Lane, especially in the Silver Age, like, well, she was so dumb. She's working with Clark Kent and she's some investigative reporter, right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
What's the thing?
Always knew that he was Superman.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many stories about her trying to prove that he is Superman. It's not like she doesn't know.
Right.
Superman, is just able to make it so that she can't get proof. Ever in the Silver Age.
What do they call that? What does he do? He
gaslight?
Gaslights
I
her.
guess so.
He just gaslights her for decades.
Well, no, they
in
didn't
our
live
time.
decades in our time.
Yeah.
He laughed about it a bunch of times too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Their relationship was different in those days.
Yeah.
They didn't really have a close bond.
Yeah.
Although they were. It's so weird. I like the removal of secret identities from modern comics. Like, fine for like the world at large, but why wouldn't you tell your loved ones?
In the Golden Age, Silver Age, whatever have you, was there not a romantic?
No, I think
will they? Won't they? If she's trying to prove he's Superman
in the early, I think she's just like she's got it for Superman.
Yeah.
Right. And then also sometimes wanted to prove that he was Clark Kent. I don't know why.
Okay.
Maybe she. I don't know. She had her own reasons. I don't think it was like to report on it, even though she was a star reporter.
Yeah.
In the very early days, Siegel and Shuster wanted to write a strip where he revealed his identity to her.
Oh.
And drew it. And whoever it was said, like, I don't think this is a good idea.
Yeah.
You should keep this triangle. So I think there was something between them from the beginning.
I remember when he revealed it in the 90s?
Yes.
There was
a
a whole
cover where she's looking in the glasses
Yeah!
at the suit.
It's such a good cover. I love
such
that
a good cover.
Oh,
I
so
love
good.
it too. Yeah.
Tommy B. Good says, so powers work like allergies. Yeah.
Like good ones.
Like where you
I feel like there was a comics character where that was the case, or an allergic
it's
response
like
to something.
It's kind of like Doomsday.
It is a lot like Doomsday.
Doomsday's power, the guy who eventually killed Superman, his power is he'll die, but then his body will react in such a way that he has now learned from that, and he has the ability to negate whatever killed him that time.
Yeah.
So he just gets more and more powerful the more you kill him.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was kind of neat.
You know what they never really described in that original story was like, oh, this is how he becomes more and more invulnerable. And he got this way because they put him out in the wastes of a proto-Krypton where these beasts destroyed him, and he, just kept coming back and got, and that's why he's so powerful.
It's basically like Australia.
Yeah, but so
where everything tries to kill you.
Yeah, so how did he come back the first time? Their plan was like, let's put this baby in the wastes, and then he'll die.
Yeah.
And then we'll bring him back in, and we'll kind of like reconstruct him. Like, how did he get the ability to come back?
But that was his ability when they made him.
I thought they just took a regular baby.
Oh, I don't think it was a regular baby.
I don't know.
Somebody
check it out.
Yeah,
regular baby?
Was Doomsday a regular baby?
Please type that. Dylan, can you type that now? Was Doomsday a regular baby? Thank you.
Tommy says, watch out for green Claritinite. Nice. So yeah, anyway, my adventures with Superman, I find it to be absolutely delightful. The first 3 episodes, I am on board. And I really do like the animification.
Animation doesn't work.
No, right.
Yeah.
It very much feels like the character designs feel very much in line with Avatar: The Last Airbender, and the way that the characters move and interact.
Mm-hmm.
The physicality of the way they're drawn.
Very dynamic.
Feels like Korra.
Very dynamic show, too. Like, it's just like a breeze to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Very well animated.
Yeah, there's nothing about it that I dislike. I think it's a pretty great Superman cartoon. Highly recommended.
There is one thing that is kind of like a transformation sequence and is very anime-ish, and I did not like, really, right? Like, it's not even close to me not liking the show anymore, but when Cat Grant, Ron Troop, and Steve Lombard are introduced,
weird.
It's like the only time when their reality shifts to produce a spotlight for each one of them, and they announce themselves and who they are.
Very anime.
Very anime. Not the kind of thing that I like.
I was like, oh, that's a weird thing we're doing all of a sudden.
Especially because it was all of a sudden, right? I would have even, because they're in a room, Lois has got her like yarn and thumbtacks board set up, and
the murder board.
Like this, what's that?
Murder board.
Yeah, see, but they didn't know what I don't remember. But they're in this like little secluded room. So if they had somehow just turned on a spotlight or something like that they put there or something, I'd have been totally cool with it.
Yeah, if there was a gag at the end where like someone was in the background with knock it off with the spotlight.
Right. Totally fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like that was out of place.
But also that joke is so overdone. Like I was even just watching Lightyear, and there's a sequence where he starts to give a speech to Weatherington Hampton, the rookie, and the music starts to swell. And then in mid-sentence, he turns back to...
And somebody's got the...
And he's like, would you stop that? And she turns off the music.
I saw that in your shop. It's the scene that I've seen from Lightyear.
The one scene, It's
a good scene.
But that's the other thing, is like that bit has also been done a lot. Yeah.
I hear you, yeah. Like it's... I still appreciate it if the artistry of it is done well.
Yeah.
But yes, I've seen it before, and so I'm not wowed.
But also, even though it's been used before, it at least lets you know...
This is the kind of
kind of show. This
is where we're at. And that kind of self-aware irreverence is something that I like.
Yeah.
Now there was one thing that I both found fun and funny. So the News Kid Legion.
Oh,
classic Superman stuff, and brought in also with like their adult versions and their younger clones in the early Superboy like Carl Kessel, Tom Grummett stuff,
Yeah.
and with Cadmus, Double X, and all that. So I really hold a special place for the Newsboy Legion, they were called at the time, but News Kid Legion now. The funny part is, so these 5 kids, Lois is like, these are my ears on the street. They don't miss anything. They know it all. Like, these are like 5 kids in a city that's maybe bigger than New York.
Yeah.
And they don't miss anything that happens.
Yeah. They're on bicycles.
Right. They do not eat or sleep. These children, they just walk around or run around on bicycles. So
they basically cover a 2-block area for Lois.
Like, we don't miss anything if we can walk there.
Very quickly.
Yeah. But still, I love to see them. I don't think I've
nice.
seen. I may have seen the Legion in like one other property adapted, but cool to see.
Yeah, even I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. It's a cute little thing.
Jack Kirby, I think.
Yes,
it
is. Yeah, you're right.
With all the Cadmus stuff. Yeah.
The closing credits is definitely a nod to anime, says Robert. 100%. I actually took a video on my phone because I was like, just to send it to the guys in the group chat. It's like, this is so anime. It's crazy. Yeah, it's very, very cool, though. Doesn't bother me that, we've got that influence.
No, I'm not super into anime.
No, not me neither.
No, honestly, a lot of times I see it and I'm like, that story looks really cool. Like, I really want to watch that story, but I'm not going to be into the way that it is told.
Yeah.
That probably is not true of all anime. Like, I haven't experienced enough to know. There's probably some that is way more on the serious side that I would really get into. In fact, I know that it's the case. Ninja Scroll is like the one the movie, not the show. And we loved it. We watched it so many times in college. But they react in a very emotional way.
Yeah.
It's
always
very quick bursts.
At a 12.
Yes.
Always at level 12.
From nowhere. In short bursts and then gone. And it's often accompanied by like a solo focus on that character. And I just don't like it. I don't like seeing it, right?
It doesn't bring you in emotionally to the story that's happening.
No, it
keeps
puts
you at a
me
distance.
out of it.
Yeah.
Right? And probably if I grew up watching that as a kid, I maybe would like it, but it's just not my thing, and it's what's kept me out of a lot of animes. Other than that, style is great. I mean, we just watched Spirited Away recently, which is a phenomenal
it's a perfect movie. I love that movie.
Yeah.
Spirited Away and Princess Mononoke are my 2 faves.
Still haven't seen. You know who translated that?
No.
Neil Gaiman.
Oh, I did know that actually at one point. I just forgot.
No,
that's awesome.
Again.
All right, so My Adventures with Superman, you highly recommend?
I highly recommend.
I highly recommend as well.
Yeah.
Netflix dropped a movie based on a graphic novel that we did for book club maybe about 6 years ago at my store called Nimona. And so Netflix did an animated film directed by Nick Bruno and Troy Quayne, starring Chloe Grace Moretz and Riz Ahmed, based on a graphic novel by N.D. Stevenson. When a knight in a futuristic medieval world is framed for a crime he didn't commit, the only one who can help him prove his innocence is Nimona, a mischievous teen. Hold on.
Okay.
Is it mischievous or mischievous?
Well, what do you want? It's one of those.
It's a mischievous teen who happens. Damn it. Mischievous. Teen
she misplaced her chives.
God damn it. Mischievous teen who happens to be a shape-shifting creature he's sworn to destroy. So I absolutely loved Nimona, the graphic novel.
Okay.
When it came out. Well, no, when we did it for book club, I should say.
All right.
Which was after it
You
came
didn't read it
no.
out?
Well, it was a webcomic.
Okay.
That he was doing.
So now your story's getting pushed back a little further. Okay.
It was a webcomic, but I wasn't reading it.
Okay. Out of some kind of protest, or you just didn't?
No, I just didn't know about it.
Okay.
So
it's
anyway.
perfectly excusable.
So N.D. Stevenson is the creator, and it was a webcomic, and it starts off as sort of like story, gag, story, gag, story, gag.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, this is a cute little whatever. And as I'm reading it for book club, I'm going, I don't know if there's going to be a lot to talk about for this book. But one of the great things about the graphic novel as a whole collection is that as it goes, it builds more and more story, emotional depth, and it gets really nuanced.
Okay. And this is the graphic novel is just the publishing of the original webcomic.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So wound up really loving it. The whole book club really enjoyed it. And so I had heard on and off stories that they were going to be making an animated series or a movie or something about it. They're going to be adapting it in some way, shape, or form. And I thought, oh, that's really great. I hope it comes out well. And then it just sort of appeared on Netflix.
Yeah, it did.
And I was like, oh my God. So we watched it, and I absolutely loved this movie. Next to Across the Spider-Verse, it's probably one of my favorite animated things of recent history.
Intriguing.
And I just love Nimona as a character. I love what the story is trying to say about being oneself and being comfortable and discovering oneself, and finding acceptance that everyone hopes to find, despite maybe bigotry and what have you, coming around the other end of that. So I found it to be a really fun, uproariously funny at times. I really laughed out loud several times, and I also got a little emotional at times. I got a little choked up. So
it's weird that we say emotional only for the sad things. Right?
Yeah, I was emotionally laughing.
Right.
It was,
right.
Yeah.
I
was happy watching it. I had
great.
emotions the whole time. A myriad of them. So I'm curious to see what you thought of it, because you don't have the history with it.
No, I don't.
I also have a feeling you probably weren't that interested in even watching it.
That's where you're wrong, JD.
Oh my God.
You couldn't be more wrong. I was that interested in watching it. I was intrigued.
I could be more
until I saw the trailer. It's an interesting question. Right?
Yeah.
Is it a gradient or a binary? The further away you are from the truth,
You
the
didn't
more
even
wrong
watch
you
the
are.
movie.
I did watch it.
See, that's even wronger.
Yeah.
My assumption that you didn't like it, less wrong than me stating you didn't watch it.
Or are both just like, wrong's wrong? No, I'm with you on this one, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. The further away from the truth you are.
Noel hates this conversation. Go on.
Oh, yeah.
So
he didn't like that 2814 thing I said earlier either.
I'm wrong. I'm the wrongest because you were interested in seeing it?
I was interested.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw it. I was like, oh, that looks pretty cool. No, I didn't read the graphic novel, and so I don't have that positive association going into it. And I saw the trailer, and I was like, I don't know if this doesn't look as cool as I thought it would.
Okay.
Right. So, but then
was it the trailer? The one I had seen was Nimona showing up at the villain's house or lair.
Yes.
And just barging her way in.
It's
was
very
it that whole
judgmental
sequence?
of you to call him the villain, JD. But
I mean, that's how he's presented.
It's really kind of the lesson the whole movie is about.
He's a piece of shit.
You learned it well. So, I think it was. I think it was that trailer. Yeah. And I might have just seen part of it before or whatever. Okay. The animation style is great.
Oh, it's so good.
Awesome.
It's actually, whatever that animation style is called, is it cell-shaded? I don't know.
I don't know, but I like it.
It's certainly CG.
Sure.
It is computer-generated animation that I historically have hated.
Is that right?
Even the guys who did Avatar: The Last Airbender did like the Dragon Prince or something like that. And I was so excited. And then I turned it on and I was like, oh no, it's that shitty animation that I hate. So this is that shitty animation that I hate, but done so well that I love it.
See, this is that shitty animation that I love.
Yeah?
I wouldn't even call it shitty.
Oh, fine.
I mean, all right, I did.
Okay.
But I wouldn't do it again. No, I actually, whenever I see something that looks like this, I'm like, cool.
Okay.
I like it.
Oh.
There was a Superman Batman thing that we reviewed that was kind of the most recent, Super Sons. Kind of has a similar look. And I think you liked that one as well.
I did,
actually. Yeah.
Wasn't too keen on the animation, though.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah. Well, go on.
Anyway, so we were watching it, and I was like, or I was watching it. I was like, I'm not feeling this.
The trailer or the film?
The film.
Oh, okay.
Right. So no, we progressed from me not feeling the trailer into just
not feeling the film either.
And I knew that you liked it a lot. And I was talking with Tamara, and I'm like, oh man, I feel bad because JD really likes this movie, and she's like, well, whatever you feel, and I'm like, well, but he liked it so much, and I'm gonna be like,
JD, you're the wrongest.
Yeah, exactly. And you should feel bad about it. And no quarter will be given. And I don't,
not a single quarter.
None. You want part of a quarter? Fuck you. It's not gonna happen. So yeah. So
fair enough.
Yeah. So no, I just wasn't into it. I don't know. I found her annoying. Although Chloe Grace Moretz, I'm all about.
Yeah.
I think she's great. The character, I was like, I can kind of see why people don't like you.
Okay.
Oh, so you did kill those guys, and well, they're not wrong about that, Nimona. Now I certainly feel for her by the end, right? Like she got dealt a more than one bad turn. And that, that's bad. And I was happy with how it turned out for her, right?
Yeah.
But I was kind of like, ugh, you know. Yeah.
Okay. Was there a turning point?
No, right away. It was pretty much, where I felt like.
That you liked it. Didn't you start this saying you liked the movie?
No, I said I was looking forward to it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I misread that.
Yeah, no.
Whoops.
Sorry. I didn't hate it.
Okay.
No, I didn't hate it. But I wasn't really that into
you were not
it.
charmed by her wiles?
No.
Her whimsy?
There were times
her
when
murderous whimsy?
No, I was like, come on, man. What are you doing?
Oh, I love her.
Why are you being this way? And
I mean, you find out why she's that way.
No, that I understand.
Yeah.
It was more like
but
her
stop it.
quit her style, not her trauma.
Gotcha.
I was like, no, I get that. Yeah. And I felt for her emotionally, more so throughout the film.
Sure.
I felt like in the beginning I was like, ugh, with this person. But also there's a relationship set up between the main guy, and not. It's not an antagonist. He's like, it's one of those things where they're in love, but then something comes between them, and I'm like, now I gotta sit around waiting for this to get resolved.
Oh my God! I have to sit through a story.
Yeah, but
where things develop.
It's one of those stories where you're like, well, I know where we need to get to, and I see it, and it's just there's been a misunderstanding, and it will be resolved, and I gotta wait for it to happen. Rather than, you know what I mean? It felt a lot like
you weren't on board for the tale.
I was not on board for the tale.
Gotcha.
And I was like feeling bad about that because I don't want to rain on your parade.
You can rain, buddy. It's all right.
I know.
Ballister Bolthart is the main character. Our main knight.
Yes.
And then Ambrosius Goldenloin is his boyfriend.
I didn't catch that last name.
Yeah, Goldenloin.
All right.
Yeah.
Now we're talking. Oh, I did love the mix of fantasy and sci-fi.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, that was cool.
There's a fantasy world, and then 1,000 years passed, and now they have tech, too.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I'm into that.
Yeah. Not central conceit, where the squire, totally could have stopped everything and had an opportunity to, and knew that he should have, and didn't. I was like, well, what's that about? What's that about? Yeah.
Cowardice, probably.
I guess so, but I don't know. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess it was cowardice. Yeah.
Pretty basic human reaction to certain things.
People get afraid of things.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even necessarily call it cowardice, right? Because that gives a real bad slant on it, JD.
Oh,
thank you
my
very
bad.
much.
Sorry. Was there? So you didn't like the movie?
Not really.
All right.
I wouldn't say I I wasn't like, that movie sucked.
Yeah. Punch that movie in the face.
No.
Okay.
But
I will give it the cold shoulder if it tries to cuddle with me. I'm like, get out. No.
To cuddle with me?
I don't want this.
Yeah. I mean, if we were just at a party and it was saying hi, I would be personable.
You'd shake a hand, but you wouldn't cuddle with it. Yeah.
Right? But
Right.
I might cuddle with it.
Oh, okay.
Sure. Why
all
not?
right.
Yeah,
all
yeah,
right.
yeah.
It's not so bad then.
Sure.
All right.
Why? Yeah.
Might share
come
a bed with it.
on,
All right. Okay, cool. Sounds like you loved it.
I love all things. Okay, here's the thing. Everything, the fact that you don't like things is your problem.
Yeah.
Right? You just gotta be the square peg in the round hole. You gotta become round to appreciate the world around you.
I don't even know what he's saying anymore.
The whole classic, a square peg in a round hole.
Never heard of it.
It's like something that classically doesn't fit.
Nope.
Okay, if you had a round hole.
I got a round hole. All right, yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm talking about.
And
so then you got a square peg where the edges of the square now are right outside the circle of the hole.
Well, why don't they just make a smaller square and then it'll fit in the round?
They're not interested in that for you. That's not what they're doing. These already exist.
I don't know. It sounds like it's real shoddy craftsmanship. If they want me to put the square peg in the round hole, they just make the square smaller.
This comes back around to what I'm saying here. See, you got to adjust your expectations, right? This is not made for you.
Okay.
It just is.
Okay.
Right? It's all as it is.
I love the movie.
Cool.
I'm
That's cool.
sad that you don't regret watching it.
No.
Oh.
I don't regret watching it.
Okay.
No. There were things I liked about it that I mentioned. The art, all that stuff. Yeah.
You just you weren't in for the story. I will say,
yeah.
I think my one negative thing that I have about the movie is that it is a little long. I do think it goes on for I I don't know. I know a shade too long. That's what I want to say.
Too long.
A shade too long. But other than that, I really loved it. It's just, it was one of those things where like, I got to wrap up my day. Can we wrap this up a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
So I did feel a little bit of like, come on.
Yeah,
I know it's coming. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, I found all of her hijinkery to be really charming.
Okay.
Chloe Grace Moretz was a perfect casting for Nimona. She was a lot of fun. One of the bits, I don't know, it's a physical gag, but when she's talking up, she sees his cool metal arm.
Yes.
And she's like, oh my God, cool arm. And then she goes, did they let you keep the original? And her eyes do this. They do the wall-eyed reptilian thing. And her, teeth get sharp.
Yes.
God, I love that bit. I laugh so hard every time I see that.
Oh, good. Wait, every time?
Well, in the
you've
trailer,
been keeping it on the store?
It was in the trailer, and then if it's on the store, we have it on, stuff like that. Plus, I just love the trans allegory of it. There's a whole sequence where Nimona, and every time someone says, "Who are you? What are you?" she goes, "I'm Nimona."
Yes.
And there's never a he or a she involved. It's always like, "What are you?" "I'm Nimona."
Yeah.
And there's this period where Nimona is talking about what it's like, because you find out that Nimona is a shapeshifter.
Yes.
And
can do more than pink, which came as a bit of a shock.
Oh, can she?
Because the first, they.
What's the?
Well, they turn into just like exact duplicates of people.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah,
you're right. You're
There's
right.
a lot of that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like a little boy.
She just likes pink.
They're just like
into pink.
Into that.
Yeah.
Right.
He asks Nimona what it's like to shapeshift, and they're talking about being uncomfortable in their own skin until it's an itch.
Yes.
It's this itch that you can't scratch, and then once you transform and become this other thing, it's freeing and what have you. So I actually got quite moved by that, and I know exactly what this movie. It's not hidden at all. It's on its sleeve what this movie's talking about.
Well, that's interesting. I did not get that specifically as a trans allegory.
Oh, no kidding.
I thought it was a really
like
cool
non-binary
concept. Or I didn't really relate it to gender, to be honest with you.
I see.
I was just thinking about it in the not exactly sci-fi, but sci-fi magic
sure
kind of terms of an interesting concept of like somebody that it's not like it's not like it takes an effort to do it. It's an effort not to do it.
Yeah.
And then there's an element of like, I got to be me. I got to be myself. But I'm not disputing trans or non-binary allegory, but that didn't come to me.
Oh, I just thought it was very obvious.
Oh, okay.
When also knowing that Indy Stevenson is, I'm not quite sure the correct terminology. I don't know if it's he, him.
Okay.
If Indy is he, him, or they, them, but there's definitely they live in that space.
Okay.
Yeah. So no one's talking about Nimona.
No one's talking about it.
Come on.
One can only assume they all felt the way I did. I'm sorry.
Or
they haven't seen it.
They're so overwhelmed by how much they loved it that they can't even type.
That's probably it.
Yeah.
And it's just when we started talking about it, it's not like they've been overwhelmed since they saw it.
They're just like, all the memories of watching Nimona.
Probably that.
They're vibrating with sadness.
Sadness?
Oh, it's a sad tale.
Well, I mean, there is certainly sadness in it. But there's, things turn out.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Things turn out.
Things turn out.
Unusual, though. Speaking of spoilers for the final scene in the movie.
Yeah.
We see Nimona's acceptance. We do not see them receive that acceptance, right? Or at least we don't see it. It could happen because Nimona seems destroyed.
Yeah.
And then there's like a bunch of little kind of pink light spots. And then one of them that you think is maybe going to come back as her doesn't. And I'm thinking, well, there's no way, right? They're not going to do that. And then the final scene of the movie is the main guy turning into his house, and she says something, hi, or whatever. And he's like, oh, which is interesting, too, that they went there. But I thought that was an interesting choice to not show that at the end.
Yeah, to show their true form, maybe.
Oh, maybe. No, I thought the interesting choice, that is interesting too, but we don't see the Nimona going and being accepted by the town. We see their acceptance because they post, there's like a tribute wall, and people are clearly into Nimona now. But she doesn't get that.
Right. Yet. We don't see it happen. Yeah.
And it made me wonder, is there a second movie planned?
Right.
And who knows?
I don't know. I'd be curious. I don't know if it needs another film. I feel like it's really,
I don't know what you
fine,
would do.
As a one and done. But I'm a sucker for that sort of editing, where someone's about to curse and they just like was it No Way Home or Homecoming?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, Homecoming, because Aunt May finds out that Peter takes off the suit and you see her in the background out of focus and she goes, "What the?" And then it cuts to the music. Yeah.
Strange New Worlds just did that with Spock.
Oh yeah.
So there's an episode he becomes fully human. He's half Vulcan, half human, which you might not know. He becomes fully human, right? And so he's dealing with like all of these
emotions.
Although canonically Vulcans have stronger emotions.
That's their whole thing. The reason they're so stoic is because they have to control these really terribly strong emotions, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they've chosen that. Yeah. But they explain it because clearly they just wanted to do that. Yeah. And they explain it like, well, he's been newly turned. It's kind of like he's a teenager,
reintroduced.
So he's got
emotion.
And so he's going through all this stuff, right? And he's fun, and Ethan Peck does a great job. And at one point they do that, like, what the? And it cuts away.
I always like it.
Yeah, it's fun.
I've seen it a bunch of times, and it still gets.
Oh, Arrested Development.
Oh,
maybe the best example of the form, where you see a clip of Job walking out of the elevator saying, "King $3,500 suit," and then later they do a flashback where he's like, "Yeah, like the guy in the foot."
That's awesome.
It's great.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah.
One of my favorite bits from sitcoms is the Community Beetlejuice bit.
Never saw it, but I've heard about it. I know I should watch it.
You know it, right?
It just passed me by. Yeah, for sure.
For anyone who doesn't know, Dylan, if you don't know, in Community, there was I think Halloween episodes every year, and each time, or at least one time every season for the first 3 seasons, someone says the word Beetlejuice.
Right.
And then the second season, the word Beetlejuice. And then the third season, as someone says the word Beetlejuice, he walks by in the background.
That's funny.
You see him out of the window.
That's really funny.
He just walks by because, say his name 3 times and he appears.
Yeah.
Robert Monroe Jr. says, I put it on my Netflix queue today.
Excellent.
Robert Monroe Jr., I need you to break this tie. He's a miserable POS. I'm delightful and I love stuff. Point of sale system. Let us know what you thought of Nimona and everyone else watching. Email us at cultpopgo@gmail.com. Let us know what you thought of Nimona.
And what are the results of breaking this tie?
I will be right.
There's no, sorry. I mean, what are the stakes?
Oh,
nothing.
Not a thing.
Right.
You will get to enjoy Nimona.
You will be counted as the third person.
Oh.
Yeah.
I touched my chalk.
You touched your chalk. Oh,
Whoops.
now there's a fingerprint, which really makes it more personal.
Son of a brisket. Anyway.
So,
are we done?
I'd love to hear what Robert Monroe Jr. thought and everybody else.
Yeah.
You got anything else to talk about?
No. Let's get the hell out of here.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. We can go. All right.
Dylan, is there anything you wanted to discuss?
What do you got? What did you watch? What's cool with you?
Oh, yeah. What'd you do this week, huh?
I'm on a big sci-fi horror kick.
Okay.
Oh, all right. I'm into it. Tell me.
So, I'm rewatching some Cronenberg. His newest film, Crimes of the Future.
Oh, I heard it's so good.
It's so good.
Damn it.
So weird you can't look away.
Okay.
And that's my favorite kind of movie.
Yeah.
And
I'm a big, I don't want to say I'm a big Cronenberg fan. I do enjoy Cronenberg films.
Yeah.
Sometimes he gets a little too esoteric for me, but I did love, what was the one where he puts the VHS into his belly?
Videodrome?
Videodrome.
Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah, my coworker actually told me to watch that.
That's a fun one.
I started checking it out, but I
A
fell.
lot of body horror.
Oh, indeed. Yeah, I know he's known for that.
Yeah.
He's also plays a small role on Star Trek Discovery. And he is awesome.
Really?
He plays this far, far future, beyond Star Trek's normal future, kind of like government intelligence agent who is a solid guy. Like, he's a good guy, but he's very calculating, and he delivers his lines in a very smart and calculating manner.
Yeah, I was like, that's so weird that he's here.
He's just, I think he said, I live in this town, and they asked if I wanted to do it, and I said, yeah,
I do.
For sure.
Robert Monroe says,
yes.
I'll watch it this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been watching Secret Invasion?
I have.
So have I. I haven't watched today's episode yet, though.
I forgot it. Oh, I forgot. I haven't watched it either, as my comment makes clear.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you what. Last episode, I was like, "Oh man, come on!"
Is it over?
I like
it's
that
over
guy
already. Oh yeah, I see. Yeah.
Which it's like, yeah, no, I like that guy, and that's but now I don't get to see him anymore.
I knew it was. I literally said it the first episode. I think I was talking to my wife, and I was like, I love him so much.
Yeah.
And it makes me sad because I know that he is not going to survive this series.
Interesting.
We won't spoil who it was.
Yeah.
But
there's only like 2 people it could be by that information.
Yeah.
What, how many major Heat characters are there?
Yeah.
Right. That you've already loved so much.
And also, I love Olivia Colman. She is a delightful addition to the Marvel universe.
Not in this last one, though.
Yeah,
right?
but I just love watching her. She's super fun. The last Cronenberg film was wild, says Robert Monroe Jr. So you recommend it? Should I check it out, Dylan?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Is it streaming somewhere?
Hulu.
Oh,
streaming on Hulu.
Yeah, I got
and
that shit.
His son's following in his footsteps. He's doing sci-fi horror stuff too. Infinity
I saw
Pool.
his first movie.
Possessor.
I saw Possessor. It was fine.
Possessor was.
I saw Infinity Pool. Also fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a cool name.
Infinity Pool.
Wait, is it just about one of those pools where you look out over the the edge?
It's basically just an ASMR video of watching an infinity pool just go.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting choice for someone who comes from like such body horrific stock.
Does he occasionally, so you're watching it, and the voice just says horror?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh.
Horror.
Yeah. He makes like spooky ghost sounds.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Videodrome is getting the Criterion treatment. That sounds awesome. I'll pick that up.
That I suggest you do, because I think you'd like it. You said earlier when we were talking about Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
And I think you thought I was going to say, oh, there's only one more episode, right?
No.
I thought you were. It doesn't seem like it's about to be over.
Wait, is there only one more episode?
I think this is the last one.
No, there's 6 episodes.
Is this not 6?
No.
Oh, okay, it's fine then.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have at least one more.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. I think we have 4 so far, and then maybe today's 5.
Okay.
And then 6 will be next week.
Oh, I guess
I think so. Yeah. But it's wrapping up really quickly.
Yeah, a little bit quicker with the storyline as it's been happening. I'm like, right. That hasn't not that much so far.
Oh, have you seen the Terrifier movies? Listen to me, Robert Monroe Jr. I have tried. I have tried to watch the Terrifier movies. I watched the one that it's based on. There's a film, a really indie film that it's based on, and maybe it's called All Hallows Eve or something. But then I couldn't finish that, and I was like, you know what, forget it. I'm just gonna watch Terrifier 1, and I put on Terrifier 1, and I didn't finish that.
When are these from? How long has this been going on?
Oh, this is very recent.
Oh, okay.
Terrifier, the whatever that was based on originally was part of an anthology series.
Okay.
The Terrifier character, the clown character, Gus or whatever the fuck the guy's name is, the clown.
Gus the clown.
Art the clown.
Art the clown.
Art the clown.
That's interesting.
And it's just so indie, so inexpensive looking.
Okay.
And there is no discernible plot other than body horror. Well, not even body horror, just gore.
Okay.
Yeah, at least body horror is like kind of innovative at times.
Into anything.
No. This is just murders on murders on murders, and it's like, how gross can we be to make the murders?
Okay.
So I'm sorry, Robert Monroe Jr. Do you recommend any of the Terrifiers? Because I know that Terrifier 2 came out, and it was hubbub out the wazoo. A hubbub out the wazoo.
Hubbub out the wazoo?
And I was like, why is there so much hubbub about these wazoos when I saw Terrifier? I couldn't get through Terrifier 1.
Wait, is a hubbub about multiple wazoos?
Multiple wazoos were being hubbubbed.
Wait, hang on a second. I thought it was coming out of the wazoos. Now they're getting hubbubbed?
Yeah.
What is happening with these wazoos?
They were hubbing and bubbing in and out of their wazoos.
Sounds like a sock hop activity.
Yes,
we should make a beach blanket movie, you and I, where hubbin' and bubbin' in the wazoos.
And the wazoos, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be the main song.
He says, I saw the second one with my daughter in the theater. She says that there are scenes that still make her queasy when she thinks about them. Yeah, I don't really care about gore stuff. I don't get affected by gore for the most part. I will say that go back to Yellow Jackets. There is a sequence in Yellow Jackets. Remember I talked to you about, telling you about there was some people eating.
I remember that.
I actually did feel a little queasy when we first are revealed the people eating.
They do like Worcestershire sauce or something.
They didn't put it. They didn't,
You're like, ugh.
they're. It's like 95% white kids, so there's no seasoning to be had.
Oh, that's. Do you expect them to be pre-seasoned?
Yeah,
Okay.
pre-seasoned
Right.
people. So I will say that there is a movie that sticks with me, Robert Monroe Jr., and that is Speak No Evil, which it's like, I want to say it's like Swedish, a Swedish film.
Okay.
And the ending of that has left me so uneasy that it stuck with me for months after watching it, especially if you're a parent. So, yeah, those things, it's more the emotional connection to the thing that's happening than just like, oh, look, that person was sawed from the groin to their neck while hanging upside down. And then, none of that stuff really bothers me. I'm like, oh, okay, that's corn syrup.
I remember a podcast that we both watched, Cracked.
Oh, yeah.
Or listened to.
Yeah.
A guy named Michael Swaim was on it. I remember excellent. I always loved it when he was on. And talking about those things start to affect you more as you get older. And even if you don't have kids, you know people who have kids. And not just kids. It's just like life experience. You're like, and also our brain develops at 25 where we feel things a little differently and see things a little differently. And so, it's like, oh yeah, the reality of that is a little different. And I'm not enjoying thinking about that or watching it the way that maybe you once did.
Yeah, I remember I would have I would have friends growing up who were horror fans, and they'd be like older than me, and they're like, oh, I can't watch stuff with kids anymore. I'm like, oh, that's never going to be me. And now I'm like, oh, is there stuff with kids in it? Because I don't know if I can handle it.
This is also the same age where you were like, yeah, Ariel and the Little Mermaid, you should go out and strike out on your own. You're 15 years old. You're an adult. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Or like when we watched Stargirl, I remember both of us saying, like, at a different age, we might have been like, yeah, go for it. Whereas now you're like, well, maybe the cosmic staff is not what you should be.
Yeah, maybe listen to your stepfather.
Yeah, your stepdad is like, maybe you shouldn't do this. Right.
The ending of The Mist. Oh, Robert Monroe Jr. The ending of The Mist gave me nightmares as a new father. Brian, have you ever seen The Mist? Stephen King. It's a movie based on Stephen King's novella.
I might have seen the TV movie, but I don't think I did.
No.
Okay.
Oh, there was a TV show.
Yes.
After the movie.
Like a long time ago.
Dylan, have you seen The Mist?
That's on my list,
dude.
A Mist.
I don't know if it's streaming anywhere though.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to watch it because I'm on the big hard sci-fi kick, so I'm just like, one more.
This is both of those things.
Exactly.
It's horror and sci-fi.
It was that was recommended to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, Stephen King, let's check it out.
Watch The Mist. It's really good. The ending is one of my top 5 endings of all time.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
I won't ruin it for you, but yeah, agreed, Robert. Good one.
Cool. What are your other 4?
Stop.
And then right now.
All right, are we done?
I'm done.
Out? We're done. All right. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Hopefully we'll have more of the crew, the Cult Pop crew, with us next week. We missed you. Not Brian, you're here. You know what? I always miss you, even when you're right next to me.
Oh, that's nice.
We
I
missed
wrote
you,
a whole
Noel
letter
and
last
Ramsey.
time. About because I wasn't going to be here whether you guys did the show or not.
Yeah.
And I wrote a whole email for you.
We got letters?
You had a letter.
Oh.
And it was all about how you guys are great, but I'm not there, and that must suck.
Yeah.
And then a whole thing, all for naught. I wrote this letter.
You could. I would have read it at the beginning of the show if you just sent it in.
That's why.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next week.